highlights this week. I mean, I've literally tattooed my ass off all week, like every single day from, you know, the crack of dawn to, you know, 2 in the morning. And every tattoo I did here was really, really fun. Which, you know, as a tattoo artist, you don't always get to do fun tattoos all the time because the client picks what they're getting, not you. And sometimes, you know, they have really good ideas, or sometimes they want to let you do whatever you want, but sometimes they have ideas that you're just kind of like, I don't know about that. And, you know, everybody this week just got the most awesome tattoos. I had such a good time tattooing here.
Do you tattoo your family or your boyfriend? Or?
I do, you know, not a whole lot because I'm just like so busy traveling constantly, and you know, my family is all back in the States, particularly Pennsylvania, and I don't make it back there a lot. But I tattooed my boyfriend once. He's got a little kitty cat in his hand, and it's kind of funny. I did that tattoo, and I think it spawned like a ton of people just wanting to get cat tattoos, because ever since I did that one tattoo and posted it, I get tons of people asking me to do cats, and that's great for me because I love tattooing cats. People's animals, like pets in general, I love. I tattooed my dad. It's still in progress, but I'm doing like a giant Polish eagle because our family heritage is we're Polish, and it's just like literally the eagle's head like comes onto his chest, and then it goes back, and one wing goes all the way down his arm, and the other wing goes all the way across his back, and then the tail comes all the way down his back. So it's like a giant crazy piece on my dad, which is really, really funny because when I first started tattooing, he was not happy about it at all. He did not want his little girl tattooing, covered in tattoos and in that lifestyle. But that had a lot to do with the fact that, you know, 10 years ago when I started, tattooing was a lot different. It was a lot more aggressive of an industry. It was a little more of that stereotypical, like, you know, gangsters and thugs and, you know, rough people got tattooed and worked in that industry. So my dad had every right to be a little nervous, you know, but as an 18-year-old girl, I was like, I can do anything. I'm not scared, you know. And looking back, you know, it might have been a little dangerous for me to be involved in that. But, you know, tattooing has come so far in the last 10 years, it's not even close to like that anymore, at least in some places. So, you know, he's proud of me now, so now he's getting full back pieces by me instead of being like, don't do that. So he had a change of heart.
So in school, were you kind of in with the punk crowd and with the tattoo?
You know, to be honest with you, I didn't fit in anywhere in school. In school, you know, I went to a very small school. There was maybe only like 300 people in the school. It was very tiny. It was in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, and you know, tattoos weren't like a common thing that you saw there. And I mean, art in general, I was very artistic, and that wasn't the cool thing to do, so I didn't really fit in with anybody. I remember being like kind of like the weird kid. I didn't really look how I wanted to, you know, I kind of looked more the way that I thought everybody else wanted me to look, you know, like I looked at the girls that were cheerleaders and they were like blonde and tan and, you know, wore like Abercrombie and Fitch, and I wanted to be like them and be friends with them, so I would dress like that, but you know, they didn't accept me and I didn't fit in, so I was always kind of searching, like, where do I belong, where do I belong? And I never really figured that out until after high school, and I moved out and started tattooing, got to see the world a little bit, and realized I just didn't belong in a small town in Pennsylvania, really.
Is your style kind of inspired by your tattooing, by your scene?
Oh, my clothing and stuff? Yeah, you know, really I derive inspiration from everything. Like, you know, my art ties in with my clothing, with my hair, with my makeup, to, you know, what I do interior design in my house, you know what I mean? It's like it all kind of coincides. I always want to be surrounded with beautiful things and things that inspire me. So, you know, when I love a color, I dye my hair that color. And, you know, I'm always buying clothes. It's kind of like something I shouldn't be doing, but I spend way too much money on clothing. But you know, every time a new season comes out, there's new cool things. I'm like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want this. But yeah, you can definitely see that in my art and my tattoos as well. Like literally, like in a day, like if I see somebody walking by in like a beautiful dress or crazy hair, like that will influence the tattoo that I'm doing. It's like I really derive inspiration from everywhere.
Yeah. So do you accessorize, or do your tattoos do that for you?
Yeah, you know, that's a funny thing, because it's like I do accessorize a bit, but yeah, not a whole lot. Like I usually wear like an earring. It's actually funny, I just realized I forgot to put one on. You saying that? Whoops. But usually I'll just wear like one big earring. I don't even bother with this side because, you know, you can't see it anyway. But yeah, you know, wearing rings is kind of hard because I tattoo every day, so I just have to take them off anyway. But I'll usually wear like a long necklace, if any accessory, just because anything short kind of gets lost in my chest piece. So I wear something long to kind of like, you know, not get all confused in there. But yeah, I think tattoos mostly, I have plenty of them, so they're kind of like the accessory really.
So who's your biggest fashion icon?
God, Gwen Stefani. She's like my biggest everything icon right now. I go through phases, but I mean, I just think she's so cool. Like, I guess maybe it's mostly because one of the first bands I started listening to when I was younger was No Doubt, you know, and I always kind of looked at her like, yeah, she's like such a badass, but she's like so womanly and feminine too. And I always kind of strive to like have a good balance between those two things, because I never want to be too edgy and too hard, you know, masculine, but I always want to have that like womanly beauty and like feminine side too.
So was modelling something you stumbled into, or had you always had your heart set on it, or was tattooing the main thing?
Modeling and tattooing and everything that I do have always been things I've stumbled into, because I've never in my life been like, I'm gonna do this thing and then do it. Honestly, I kind of am just like an open book, and I just really invite all opportunities around me, and I just, whenever I'm offered an opportunity, I just take it and I run with it, and if it works out, it does, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. And modeling was one of those things, you know. I became friends with a girl who had a bunch of tattoos years ago, and she was doing some modeling, and she's like, oh, you should come with me to a shoot. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not, let's do it. So it was really fun. We took some photos. The photographer invited me back to do more. I did more. He introduced me to other photographers. I did more, and then it just kind of grew, and then all of a sudden, you know, I was getting calls from this company and like doing this and that, and I was like, I guess this is kind of like a job now, I guess, you know. So it just kind of worked out that way, and it's a fun thing to do. I'll say that I don't think that modeling is really like a full-time job for anybody. Even somebody who says like, I'm an alternative model, you know, it's like you can't really make a living doing that. So for anybody, it's really more of like a hobby. You know, it should always be more like a hobby. If you make some money, and it's kind of like a little bit of work too, but it's always better to have something on that's your main thing. And that's why tattooing, it was great, it went hand in hand for me, because it was like the tattoo modeling and the tattoo magazines are also involved with the artists and their art, so I kind of got to do both.
I've got a few quick fire questions.
Yeah.
So
let's do it.
Okay. Famous person you'd love to tattoo?
Gwen Stefani.
Your weirdest phobia?
Weirdest phobia? Skunks. I've always been really scared about getting sprayed by a skunk. They're all over the place where I grew up, and I think if I got sprayed with one, I would like literally bawl my eyes out.
Your weirdest favorite food?
Weirdest favorite food? I like everything. Everything's my favorite food. I just don't eat meat, you know? That's basically the only thing. Oh, I don't know. What's weird? What's weird? What's a weird food? I literally eat
M&M
like
sandwiches.
Oh, okay, like something.
Peanut butter and ham.
When I was little, I used to love peanut butter and butter sandwiches. I think that's really weird. Although I think in Germany that would be normal, because every time I've gotten a sandwich in Germany, there's butter on it. It's the only place I've ever experienced that. In America, we eat mayonnaise or something like that. But like, yeah, so that was like kind of weird.